name's Captain John from Captain John's Saw Life. That's my cute little store. I get these stories every single day. I go in and investigate them, and I do what I can to help the customers like you. Okay? Give me that thumbs up. Pass it on to your friends. Hey there, happy people. Do you know what you're looking at? This is a strut. Obviously, the shaft goes through there, and it goes up into the back of the boat. And what this does is more like a stabilizer. Well, I've got a customer you're about to see over at one of the marinas where he's got a squeak on one of his struts, and I believe it's on the port side. And what we're coming here for is I wanted to show you the outline of this. That is a rubber insert inside that. What causes a cutlass bearing to squeak? It could be rolled over. Something could have got in there. He could have picked up a line, crab trap line, melted, and a piece got in there and cut that rubber neoprene in there, a rubber piece inside the cutlass bearing, and folded it over, and it's so tight that it's squeaking. We're also in the middle of winter here, and the water is 59 degrees. That would also make your shaft squeak. Lubrication. Well, there's grooves in that, and when water gets in there, it's supposed to lubricate that, so you would think it would stop squeaking after it was lubricated. Well, here's the deal. Sometimes people don't move their boat, and it gets stuck, and water doesn't get in there, and I come in behind it and inject in these little cups right here, and all the way around there's like little veins. Inject diametric grease in there, and that helps too. We're going to go under the water and we're going to see if the cutlass bearing rubber is folded over. That's the first start. If it's not, we're going to plan B. We're going to come in and inject it with diametric grease. The customer's up north, so this is why I'm doing these videos, so he can actually see what we're doing down here. And I'm in one of the local yards and I just wanted to show you what a strut looks like with a cutlass bearing in it when it's properly installed. Okay, so that's not what we're really here for. We're here to stop a squeak on a strut. That's the strut. Had cutlass bearings inside that strut. Switching subjects. Do you remember that sailboat that I brought up from Boca Grande, Punta Gorda area? The Hurricane Ian slammed all the boats up there. Burnt Store Marina. Alright, so one of the videos has this. I went under the water, and guess what's right next to this boat in the yard? Is the boat. So, the rudder was bent. I got a call down there, and the rudder was bent. And, times. Alright, so if you YouTube this, pick up this. Alright, so I get down there, I jump in the water. We have a bent rudder. Okay, it is bent. Well, it's hitting the top up here, and it was leaking here. So I get down there and I'm thinking, okay, I got a little bit of steering. I'll be able to bring it on its own on power, but they wanted me to tow it up here from Boca Grande to St. Petersburg. All right, so I came up with this idea. I cut the edge off of the rudder, and it actually moved. And I sealed this with, oh gosh, 5200, slowed down the leak, and the bilge pump took over. I brought it up here, and she sits in the boatyard. That was another nightmare of a job, but I got it done. 24 hours to deliver. I want to show you a pet peeve of mine. I'm not bashing the company, but I gotta tell you, I don't like these propellers. You might want to check out the Max Prop Easy. Now, they're not sponsoring me, but I am a rep for them down here. I install them under the water. I change the pitches. I grease them also under the water, and I think I'm the only one in St. Petersburg that does that. But this prop is called a gory, and barnacles grow in saltwater, and I can't even say the word. But anyway, let me explain this to you. This right here has gears in it, okay? You get barnacles up in there, this thing ain't turning. hang it, all right, and then it goes into the other position for reverse, right? So that's kind of crazy. So once barnacles get in there, the owner can't even move this. This is designed for freshwater, regardless if it was painted or not. So here you go. This is one of my pet peeves. I hate these propellers. They're no good in salt waters. Maybe in the Bahamas, maybe in freshwater, but no good down here. All right. So anyway, that's a little pet peeve story. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Give me the thumbs up if you like these videos. But for now, we're going to go over to the boat that we had the squeak on the shaft, and we're going to try to find out what that problem is. Then we're going to jump over to the boat show. Now listen to this story, if you like stories. I get a call to go to the boat show because we have a boat show going on here. And one of the boats that is in the boat show, the owner gave me a call, and it's just a simple story, so hear me out. He calls me. He's from Miami. This boat came from Miami to come up here to the St. Petersburg Boat Show. That's a long way, okay? It gets here, and I'm told that one of the rudders is missing on the starboard side. The shaft coupler has a buffer, and it's like a flex in between the coupler and the transmission. That is plastic, high density plastic, shattered, okay? And the propeller is a mushroom. That's okay. I said, okay, so I get a call to tow the boat out of the boat show after the boat show's over, okay? And then the owner calls me back and he goes, I said, I can use the pieces from the other shaft onto the good shaft, and I can drive you with one propeller once I get enough speed. Trying to explain this to a customer, they're like scratching their head, but I'm thinking this through. So anyway, I'm thinking, okay, great. He calls me back. He goes, the rudder's bent on the other side. I'm not sure about the propeller, and the buffer in between the flex coupler, after the coupler in between the transmission, that one's also shattered. So what in the heck did this girl do? She's supposed to be a captain. She ran this sucker right aground and limped here to the boat show, dropped the boat off. They went to go show the boat, and it won't even move out of its own way. I have a feeling this girl's, one, not going to get paid, or she should have told somebody about this and asked for help, so before we got to the boat show, could have pulled those props off, got them recon, put the flex spacers in there between the couplers and the transmission, and called it a day, provided she didn't bend the strut. She says she ran over a line. No line will break your shaft on your rudder. Just saying. And no shaft, no line will mushroom your prop. So we're going to take a video of that underneath the water. So anyway, once again, my name's Captain John from Captain John's Salt Life. That's my cute little story. I get the stories every single day. I go in and investigate them, and I do what I can to help the customers like you. Hey, once again, Captain John from Captain John's Salt Life. Okay, this is the Bertram. And it's an antique. Port, starboard. Starboard prop is where the work was done. They removed the transmission, they raised up the engine, and all of a sudden when they put the shaft back, it's making noise, it's squealing. So either the engine's not in alignment, and what you're going to see under the water is when I move the prop, if it moves freely and I give the thumbs up, that means the engine's in alignment. But if it doesn't move freely, it's binding on the rubber, which is the cutlass bearing, which I showed you at the yard a couple minutes ago. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera down, we're going to go under the water, we're going to turn that shaft, and we're going to give the video to the customer up there in Wisconsin where it's snowing. Alright, if you like my videos, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, and your boat's available to be online. 58-degree water. And really no wetsuit. I hate the cold. Always wear a hood to protect your head. If you look at some of my other videos, which I hope you do, you notice that I used a special lubricant for my mask so it doesn't fog up underwater. Okay, did you notice, could you tell that I was on this side, which is the port, this side, which is the starboard? When I turned this, they're both tight, which is a good thing. When I rotated this one forward or backwards, it made no sound, and when I rotated it forward, like you're propelling, the boat's moving forward, there was no sound. Over here on the starboard side, when you put it in forward, there was no vibrations whatsoever. Stiff, but no vibrations, and it felt the same. But when I put it in reverse, you could hear the vibration. Now, that could be because the screws are not in the transmission, like you said, but there's no binding on the rubber. So, in my opinion right now, that cutlass bearing rubber is hard. It's really hard. But the vibration could be coming from the loose cutlass bearing. So what we need to do is put the bolts back in, start the engine, let it run in reverse, and see if we get that major vibration in forward and reverse. If we don't, we're in good shape, because in my opinion, those cutlass bearings are just fine. But I don't like the vibration when you're in reverse on that one. So we did our first step. We looked under the water to see if there's any debris. Doesn't look like there is. Looks like it could be lubricated just fine. But something's causing it to bounce around. Now, as far as the bottom paint on the boat, it's great. So I don't know when you had that done, but it's clean, very clean. The props are obviously painted. Either did this job at Sailor's Wharf or Embry. That's who uses that gray paint on your props. And when I pull props off, I do the same. It stops the owner from having to haul out at a marina and spending all the money on a bottom job when you only need the props painted. Okay, so step one, we got a video under the water. Let's get this up to you. Customers, if you're listening, I hope this helps. What you can see under the water as far as vibrations, but you're going to see me go in stages until we resolve the problem. Well, I'm in the engine room, and we're coming back towards that transmission here. There it is right there. See the nut missing? There's a bolt right there at the bottom, and right there at the top. All the rest of them are missing. So that's not good. I also don't see any marks on this coupler. So that's not good, not even on the top of the engine. Why would they do that? Okay, looks like we found the bolts, and there they are. Looks like there's enough. So the need to get them back in the coupler and tighten them up and see if we have that vibration. Okay, so today is Sunday. I grabbed the bolts off the Bertram at the Harbor's Marina, and I just wanted to point out these bolts here. Well, they're frozen shut. So instead of having to buy new ones, see, I've been working them slowly and re-greasing them for the customer, and now they back off like they should. So obviously they rusted in the engine room. I'm soaking them between that and this and that mess in there. Once again, saving the customer money. But when you get some bolts that are rusted like this, you really don't need to throw them away. They're tempered steel. It's surface rust. You just need to break the rust free. And how we do that is I can use fresh water, I can use oil, but you got to lubricate them, and you keep lubricating them until they move freely. So now they move freely. And what these bolts were, if you remember, they're coming off the coupler and attaching the coupler to the transmission. Where we only saw 2 bolts on there, we need all the bolts on there. All right, so stay tuned.